I just made a video talking about the new Chevrolet Blazer electric car, which looks pretty impressive. In fact, very impressive for the price. But there's one big problem. Is it actually American? General Motors presents themselves as American, but unfortunately, American brands such as Ford and General Motors and Jeep and Dodge are trending in the opposite way, becoming less and less American every single year. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. It's great to see you. Not so great to see this trend though. Unfortunately, American manufacturing is dying a slow death. Why? Well, because of countries like China and Mexico who are more than happy to build vehicles at a cheaper cost with cheaper labor and cheaper factories, cheaper land, cheaper everything. Therefore, what is happening? Well, this is what's happening. The most American-made cars are coming from pretty much one company, Tesla. Tesla has 4 of the most American-made cars in the top 6 most American-made cars in America. Most of the rest of the list is made up of Hondas. Seriously, I kid you not. In fact, GM doesn't have a single American-made car in the top 10. Most American-made car in the top 10. Not even in the top 12, in fact. So, really, this, in my view, is a problem that needs to be addressed. So what's happening? Well, GM's decision to invest $1 billion for EVs in Mexico instead of in the United States, in my view, is not the answer to the EV leadership that Joe Biden and Mary Barra claim General Motors has right now. Now, obviously, we all laugh at that. I mean, General Motors clearly are not leading the industry when it comes to electric vehicles. Anyone who says they are is an insane brand fan. One of those people commenting on Inside EVs who just loves General Motors. It doesn't care what they say. Everything they say is amazing. It's all going to happen. It's all true. It's all wonderful. General Motors. Come on. They're a bit like that. They're a bit crazy, aren't they? They're not realistic. They're living in the clouds. A little bit like fanboys of any brand. Ultra fanboys of any brand. They don't like to hear logic. They don't like to hear sense. Now, when I shared the video about the new Blazer EV, it struck me that General Motors plans to build it in Mexico. I mean, I made a video before that talking about how BYD, a Chinese company, builds electric buses and trucks in California. Why can they do it in California, but GM can't? I don't understand. Now, right when I was having these thoughts, I came across an article on Teslarati. And someone there was having exactly the same moment as I was. Now, the president hyped up GM for creating only 4,000 American jobs. Tesla has created more than 100,000 and investing $7 billion US. Teslarati says that GM's $1 billion investment in Mexico feels like a mistake. GM announced that it will produce its new Chevy Blazer EV in Mexico, which will be available by the fall of 2023. Earlier today, Reuters reported that GM will produce the 2024 Chevrolet Blazer EV at Ramos Orizaba in Mexico. According to the article, GM will build the 2024 Blazer EV at a plant in Mexico, and it will be ready to be sold in Mexico by the end of 2023. The Detroit News reported that United Auto Workers Vice President Terry Ditz, who is head of the union's GM department, said that this was a slap in the face to UAW and the US taxpayers. So it's good to see the UAW actually saying something which I think will help US workers, potentially. At a time when General Motors is asking for a significant investment by the US government in subsidizing electric vehicles, this is a slap in the face, not only for UAW members and their families, but also for United States taxpayers and the American workforce. General Motors automobiles made in Mexico are sold in the US and should be made right here in the US, employing American workers. That is why our nation is investing in these companies. Taxpayer money should not go to companies that utilize labor outside the US while benefiting from American government subsidies. This is not the America any of us signed up for. Frankly, it is unseemly. Now, right now, there are no EV subsidies for GM or Tesla in the US, and I don't think there's going to be any time soon because the American government just wants to fight well, the right fights the left fights the right, and they can't agree. So right now they're subsidizing Hyundai, Nissan, and Toyota, Volkswagen. Any car companies that are not American, they're subsidizing them. Companies that are American, they're not. General Motors and Tesla. So yeah, right now GM doesn't even qualify for EV incentives at all, and they may not in the foreseeable future, considering Joe Biden's bill to give subsidies to EVs, new subsidies, new bills, new changes, has been basically booted out. Now, Teslarati says that General Motors made a mockery of President Biden. And yeah, I kind of agree, unfortunately. Last year and earlier this year, President Biden made a point to ignore Tesla's contributions to the EV space in favor of GM. Now, this did happen. Whether you like it or not, it did. During the State of the Union address, President Biden praised GM for investing $7 billion into EVs and for creating 4,000 new jobs in Michigan. What he didn't mention were the over 100,000 jobs that Tesla created for Americans. He also didn't acknowledge that Tesla's $10 billion investment into EVs was pretty significant. In fact, it took a viral petition that Teslarati's associate, Gail Alfar, and regular Teslarati contributor, John Asida, who's the writer of this article, to go viral for President Biden to acknowledge Tesla's leadership in the EV space. So well done, John, on making that happen. That's pretty cool that you did that. Huge kudos to you. Now, President Biden claimed GM was the EV leader. In November 2019, the US president toured GM's Factory Zero, and he said that GM electrified the entire automotive industry. Under CEO Mary Barra's leadership, he added that Mary Barra electrified the entire automotive industry, and of course, that was an outright lie. We all laughed at that. We kind of thought that was just a funny thing. Maybe he was playing political games, trying to get Mary Barra to actually get a move on and make stuff happen at GM. That was my take on it. That was my positive take, to say Joe Biden really knew what was going on, and he was trying to play a little game to push General Motors in the right direction. Who knows what his real intentions were? I've got no idea. In the auto industry, Detroit is leading the world in electric vehicles. You know how critical it is, Mary? I remember talking to you way back in January, about the need for America to lead in electric vehicles. I can remember your dramatic announcement that by 2035, GM would be 100% electric. You changed the whole story, Mary. You did, Mary. You electrified the entire automotive industry. I'm serious. You led, and it matters. Now, I don't know who wrote this for him. I don't think he wrote it himself. I think someone else wrote it for him. But, whoever it was, they had a good sense of humor, didn't they? Now, Jonna says that the idea that GM is the EV leader and is providing the most jobs in America for EVs is laughable. Yet, this thought was pushed by the Biden administration while trying to suppress Tesla and its actual leadership of the industry. This hurts Tesla's American employees, and it makes the president look a little bit foolish, to be fair. It does a little bit. Especially now that GM is going to build its newest electric vehicle in Mexico. Although $1 billion isn't as much as the $7 billion investment, it is still investing money for EVs in Mexico and not the United States. In her statement to the Detroit News, US Representative Debbie Dingell emphasized that EVs must be built in the US and that not $1 American should support jobs being shipped off to Mexico. Electric vehicles must be built here in America by the finest workforce in the world, the American workers. Not $1 American should support our own jobs being shipped off to Mexico, especially when we have the workers and the technology to manufacture electric vehicles ourselves. General Motors needs to reaffirm their commitment to working families now. I'm focused on ensuring auto innovation and manufacturing stays in the hands of hardworking American people. Now, Jonna says that in her opinion, GM is only making EVs because Tesla has proven that not only is it possible to mass produce EVs, but that people actually want them. If this wasn't the case, GM wouldn't have crushed all of its EV1 electric vehicles. Now, it's true, they crushed every single one of the EV1. That was a bit of a blight on the history of that vehicle itself. Well, actually, they didn't crush them all. There's a few in museums around the world, but GM did force owners to give them back to the company so that they could destroy them. If GM truly believed in EVs, then there wouldn't have been a need for Tesla to be founded. In addition to that, GM and these other automakers seem to only want to beat Tesla. They're constantly talking about how we're going to beat Tesla in 2025, or I don't know, whatever year they cherry pick out of a hat. Tesla's mission is different. Tesla is focused on accelerating the transition to sustainability. And while, to be honest, I don't think that's entirely true, John, I'm sorry. Tesla wants to crush everyone. Elon Musk wants to crush the competition. He doesn't say that, but he really does. And that's fair. You know what? That's what a CEO should want to do. Now, the point Jonna is making, she's saying, it's not fair to Americans that GM is investing even 1 cent in New Mexico, especially since the US president has been hyping up General Motors as the job creator of the EV industry. And she has a point. That has happened. We all know Mexico has cheaper labor than the United States. And no offense to anyone in Mexico, but if you're going to market yourself as an American company producing American-made EVs, then your EVs need to actually be made in America. Now, if you're confused about what I'm talking about, you might be. You might not have seen my video showing you the top 20 most American-made cars in America. I'll put a link in the description below to that video. Now, let's look at this in a positive light. All this has happened. It's all true. John is right. But the reality is, GM is going to invest many billions of dollars in the US and in automotive manufacturing in the US. That is a good thing. So we have to accept here, GM is doing some good things and some not so good things. Hopefully, those good things can increase and the bad things can decrease. Let me know what you think about this story. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.